Can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat.
ESBR Boxing, we're back, myself and Paul Kelly. We're in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk, your home of betting tips and analysis relating to boxing and all a load of other sports. But we are here obviously on the boxing take, give us some insight into that. And we are here previewing a fight in second place at middleweight. An intriguing fight, Paul, actually, I think this one, between Liam Smith and Aaron McKenna. Obviously, Liam Smith's a guy that needs no real introduction to the British fight public, and Aaron McKenna, similarly, amassing a sort of decent record, obviously on the ascendancy at the moment. But the question I want to ask you, Paul, really, there's going to be a couple of challenging questions to come after this, but what I first want to base those on actually is your prediction, Paul. I want to, first of all, your thoughts obviously on this fight. If you'd like to obviously also give me a prediction, then from there we will unpick it, Paul, in greater detail.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Looking forward to this one as well. A massive card at the Spurs Stadium, and this is a good fight for me. It's a must-win for Liam Smith. That's where my head's at with it. I mean, is it is a must-win. If he doesn't beat Aaron McKenna, that's no disgrace to Aaron McKenna. At this stage of his career, Aaron McKenna has barely fought anyone. Yeah, he's looked good in every fight and done what he's needed to do. But I think he hasn't fought anyone on the level of Liam Smith. If Liam Smith is, you know, anywhere near his best, I believe he gets the job done here. That is my prediction. I feel that Liam Smith will get the job done here. I could see him stopping Aaron McKenna, to be honest. I think Aaron McKenna could come again no matter what. I think this might be just a little step too soon. They're probably hoping that Liam Smith is well past his best and his best days are behind him, which could be the case. In which case, Aaron McKenna most definitely can win this fight. But I think Liam Smith still has enough left to defeat Aaron McKenna. And yeah, pushing for a prediction, I'll go Smith stoppage about round 6 or 7, mate. I think you can maybe get to him in the mid to round 6, 7, 8 is where I'm at. And he's not a massive puncher, Liam Smith, but I think he could stop Aaron McKenna. And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you know what I think Liam Smith for me is such a weird kind of fight. He's almost had like so many sort of like his career almost goes like this. Like you kind of in some huge fights and have some down fights where you think like, is he being positioned now as a sort of gatekeeper? Then he wins those fights quite convincingly, and he kind of comes back. I'm thinking of like, the likes when he fought the likes of Fowler, for example, or even sort of Vargas. The Eubank fight was a weird one. Obviously, winning the first one, but Eubank was drained, come back in the second one, and lose that fight. So I just feel like Smith for me is levels above Aaron McKenna. I do feel like that. I feel like there's been talk about Smith outside the ring. Like, is he kind of the motivation and kind of in shape, etc., etc. Those things will obviously he'll have to be sort of attended to. To get the job done. Obviously, Aaron McKenna's seen as obviously a professional that's obviously motivated to sort of seek that sort of limelight and that increased profile. But I think Liam Smith's going to win this as well. I do. I'm not necessarily going to go agree with you on the knockout. I think he might do it on points, to be honest with you, but I think it'll be convincing. I think Liam Smith is almost kind of, if it was weird to say, kind of disrespected, because I don't necessarily think he's almost like his ability seems to be diminished somewhat. Like he seems a very, very capable fighter. He's only got 4 losses, 2 stoppage losses on there, but he's been in with some very, very good names, like you say, levels above Aaron McKenna. And if he's kind of motivated at middleweight, then I can see him sort of prevailing here. I don't think there's too many miles on the clock that he's really, really sort of declined. So I'm going to also agree with you on the Smith victory, but I'm going to go Smith on points. You picked up there, saying that this is a must win though for Liam Smith. And the question really, I suppose, is, he has had 38 fights on his record, 20 wins, etc. But he's got that loss to Eubank, again, no real shame in it. Lost to Munguia, lost to Canelo. So again, lost with some big names, frankly. But do you think if he loses this fight, that he should consider retirement, or do you think there's still a possibility that they can maybe work towards, Conor Benn's been mentioned, other names of that like, or do you think retirement for Liam Smith?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? When you do look at his defeats, they've all been against good names. Like at the time, Munguia was like on its court to being a world beater. The Kurbanov fight, was it? He arguably won that, Liam Smith. Yes, the Eubank Jr. won. He was too overweight going into that camp and didn't have it long enough. And then yeah, obviously Canelo as well, no disgrace. So when you look at those losses, you're like, yeah, fair enough. If you're losing to Aaron McKenna at this stage, and again, I don't want this to sound like we're having a go at Aaron McKenna. Like he's a good fighter. I just don't think Aaron McKenna at this stage is good enough to beat Liam Smith. So if he does beat Liam Smith, yes, for me, Liam Smith should definitely consider hanging up the gloves. He's had a brilliant career, and who are we to retire any man? But I mean, I think he'll know in his own mind that, and Joe McNally and everyone at the Rotunda, if he's not beating Aaron McKenna at 36 years of age, hasn't been overly active, and if he's not beating Aaron McKenna, he's probably it's hard to say where he can go from there. So for me, yes, if he is beaten Beefy, I think he could consider hanging them up. And what would have been a fantastic career.
Yeah, I think you actually hit the nail on the head there when it's like it's about the sort of what's left if you do to Aaron McKenna, like those fights you mentioned, sort of Conor Ben, all those sort of things. Those sort of fights obviously won't. I don't think they'll happen if you lose to Aaron McKenna. Like you're not going to sort of fight someone who's lost to Aaron McKenna. You'll almost be sort of chasing. Do I try and get Eubank Jr. out for a trilogy fight? All that sort of nonsense. He becomes quite desperate. So I think I agree with you. Actually, I think if he does lose and loses quite convincingly to Aaron McKenna, there'll be serious sort of questions that will have to be asked. But let's pick up on Aaron McKenna here. I'm sorry, I just want to ask you again, not obviously for anyone of the sort of profile of Liam Smith, but 19-0, 10 KO victories. Obviously, do you? How far do you reckon he can go? The sort of middleweight one. Do you think there's a chance he fights for a world title? Do you think that there's a chance he can move? How far in the division do you see him going? He's got the WBC International middleweight title before, against sort of Liam a couple of times out. But do you think he can challenge those names at a championship level? Do you think he will challenge him? And if so, do you think he can pick up a world title?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all depends on how he looks here. And I mean, it's one of them where I've said he's only 25, right? When you look at it, and he's quite big for a middle, he's 6'1". I think he could go reasonably far. Kind of what's the stick we use? Kind of like, let's be honest, one of the first questions you ask about when it comes to a prospect and an undefeated prospect is, oh, will he win a world title? So I don't know. Is the answer to that? I would probably say no at this stage, mate. But if Aaron McKenna comes in and beats Liam Smith, beats him well, looked sensational, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to be on the Aaron McKenna. I'm going to be driving that hype train. If that happens, do you know what I mean, mate? We'll be jumping on board. Um, so no, I don't think he could become world champion. But in terms of how far he could go, like European title, yeah, probably. He's got a decent record. I think he needs to have a few more fights against names, people that will really test him, take him rounds, names that are maybe on the decline slightly at the latter stages of the career, but will really make him answer some questions. And if he's not on his A game, he could lose. That could be the case with the Liam Smith fight, of course. But yeah, I reckon Aaron McKenna, I reckon he could win a European title, perhaps. World title. I could see him fighting for one potentially down the line. Like it's hard to predict, isn't it? Because he could be going for another 10 years. Really, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'll say yes, he'll fight for a world title, but will he win it? Right now, I'm gonna say no. Just
Yeah, it's such a hard one because, like you say, you're looking into the future and you're going, you're balancing the kind of potential of now with what could possibly happen tomorrow. But I agree with you. I don't think he, at this stage, from what I've seen of him, is necessarily a world champion in waiting. However, like you say, if he comes in and sort of batters him convincingly, then obviously you might have to reappraise that view. But I think again, it's hard to see him competing against the sort of elite names in the middleweight division at this current time. But we will see. But Paul, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for, guys. Let us know obviously in the comments as well how you sort of see this fight, how you see it going, whether Liam Smith should retire if he loses, and also how far Aaron McKenna could go. Like and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, all your boxing needs up and under one roof. And please, as always, check out the rest of the previews. Check out obviously the analysis and betting tips that come through on Sharp Betting. Paul, thank you very much for joining me. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching.
cheers, mate. All the best.